Alright, so here we go. We're going to show you guys how to do PI for robotics. So in my cargo hold I have everything we need to set this up, so I'm going to set it up on the first barren planet, which you'll need for mechanical parts, I believe. If not, then it's consumer electronics. So I'm going to make this quick. I don't have a lot of memory for these videos, but here we go. Alright, what you want to first do is you want to scan right here, and you're going to go down and you're going to select noble metals. You may notice that there's a lot of quantity for these things, and it's because I'm in nullsec. So we're going to select that. We're going to wait for it to come up. We're going to zoom out on the planet, and you'll notice now you're going to see a lot of large white spots. What we want to do is slide the scale over here to the point where we see barely the first white spot, and as you can see, the scale's almost all the way up, but we have one small spot right here, so that's where we're going to look. We're going to go ahead and make it a little bit bigger, and then we're going to go ahead back over to here, select base metals, so we can see where the highest concentration of base metals is. This is kind of just figuring out where the best location for your command center is going to be. So I'm going to go ahead and find the location for this, and make it easier after I show you the best location. So I don't see any red spots except for way down here at the bottom. So I'm going to slide this back over here until I can get that white hot spot again for base metals, which is right there. So once we find our first hotspot location, which is down here, we're going to take a mental note. Then we're going to go back down to noble metals. Just remember, this is where the area is at, right in here. And we've kind of lucked out because now there's one right next to one of our base metals locations. So with that located, even though it's not the highest concentration on the planet, it's still going to help. Alright, after scanning it down, I noticed that there were 4 other barren locations in this place, so I'm going to go ahead and warp to those locations. And the reason why you do this is you want to find the best location for these extractions, and sometimes the first planet you look at is not the best one. You may also note that once you are undocked in the location just in the system, you do not need to travel to each planet to actually conduct PI. So if you have a cloaky ship, a cloaky badger like I do, it really benefits you. Now you may notice that I've located a pretty large concentration of noble metals. You'll notice my slide bar is almost at the 85 to 90 percentile range, which means that's a really high concentration. It seems to be the largest one on the planet. And the way that I identified this location as a good location is once I went to noble metals, I alternated between base metals. Now you're not going to have the same quantities as the noble metals when it updates, but you can kind of see how it changes colors over here, and here you'll see the larger locations. But you'll notice right here it has a semi-okay location for base metals, but because base metals has a higher concentration, the yield that you'll actually extract will be a little bit more than you would normally extract on the noble metals. It may sound confusing, but it makes sense once you actually start going into the details. So let me go ahead and start it up. Alright, so now that we're zoomed in on our location, you're going to notice, okay, there's the highest concentration on this planet for noble metals, and right around in here is the highest concentration near to it for base metals, as seen here. And the way that you can tell is you'll have to alternate between both of them, like right in here. You'll notice that our white spot disappears because we changed between different resources. So ideally, though, you want to set up on your noble metals because it's a rarer mineral in high-sec space, but it seems to be pretty abundant in nullsec. So we're going to go ahead and leave our scan window open with noble metals selected. We're going to go to build. We're going to go to command centers. You'll notice that that barren command center is actually grayed out, and that's because I don't have the actual command center in my cargo hold the way it's supposed to. So I'll show you really quickly. by leaving planet mode, accessing my cargo hold, and you'll notice I'll have 3 giant secure containers. And by double-clicking them, you'll notice that on each of them, you should have my command centers right here. So you need to have each one of these weigh 1,000 cubic meters, so you need to make sure that you have at least 3,000 open, available. You just drag from the container. Oh, uncloaked. So I'm going to decloak. I'm going to drag my container. So now I should be able to place it. I'm going to go ahead and now recloak my ship because I am in nullsec and pretty undefendable and very vulnerable right now. And I can be scanned down at any minute. So you'll notice that once you decloak, it takes about 30 seconds. So now that I'm recloaked back up, I'm going to go ahead and enter the planet mode again. Now you'll notice that I'll close my overview in my selected items window. You may not want to do this, but I do because I actually have access to my local chat right here where I can see there's only one neutral in system. And if you want to minimize your chat windows to make it a little bit better, you can declutter. And the best thing to do is you come into a system is you want to watch for a local spike, obviously. That's 101, and you can go ahead and close that. If, of course, you feel like you need to have your overview open, by all means, you can see when somebody warps to your location. If they do, in fact, manage to get to a planet, remember that they have to be within 2,500 meters of you to decloak you. So keep your ship moving, no matter what. I warped to this planet at 100 kilometers, and I have been moving since I started this PI. And I'm not even at this specific planet, I'm actually at a different planet. So again, you don't have to be at the planet to do PI on a planet. You just have to be undocked in the system. So I feel comfortable because I'm going to watch my local chat for the spikes. And alright, I've relocated my planet. I was at the wrong planet, but you'll notice now that I've kind of got my general location. It's going to be right there and in here. So you'll notice that my slide, this is the only white location, full white little hotspot on the whole planet. So that is the highest concentration on the planet. So we're going to go ahead and zoom in. And just to confirm where our base metal hotspot is, it's going to be right around in here, if I'm not mistaken. You'll actually see the colors kind of green and yellowy right here, which, if you'll notice, I'll go ahead and slide this back over to get the concentration level. Now you'll notice there are hotter spots on the planet, but this location is ideal for extracting multiple types of resources. So there's my hotspot right there, and then my hotspot for noble metals is right here. So ideally I want to set my command center up right in this area right here. So we're going to go ahead and select the noble metals, because that's going to be our primary location, because it's a rare resource. Alright, and we're going to slide over until we get the one click into the white, which is right there. So now you'll notice this is an oblong shape. Now the reason why you want to make sure you set up as close as possible is because of power grid issues. If you're running minimal skills, power grid will become an issue at a later point, but I think I'm pretty well set up for this. So without further ado, we're going to go into the command center's location, and you'll notice now our command center right here is not grayed out. So I can click it, and I'm going to kind of click here. I'm not going to submit, but I'm going to go back to the scan. You'll notice that I have a little building right here, right in here. I'm going to go back into the the base metals. This is kind of getting in the way. Let me go ahead and pin this back when we get done. Now you'll notice if I switch between the two, it's about equidistant between both of the hotspots. So just to confirm, okay, it needs to be moved a little bit more to the right, but I'm not too worried about it, because that's something I'll explain about it in a minute. So I'm going to go ahead and submit. And what that does is officially made this planet yours. Now you'll notice by clicking on that command center, you'll notice it has a small holographic building. Okay, and the first thing you're going to want to do before you do anything is you want to click upgrade. Now I have command center upgrades level 3 right now. Once you get to command center level, command center upgrades to 4, you'll be able to upgrade it to the 5th level. Now you'll notice that by upgrading, you've increased your CPU and power grid, which you're going to need. You also notice the cost. So as your upgrades go up higher, the more it costs. So per planet, it's going to cost us at a minimum of about 3 million. So we're going to go ahead and upgrade, and make sure after every single step you make, you click submit. Otherwise, your changes won't make effect. So I already know that I'm going to be extracting base metals and noble metals just by off of Hawk's guide. I'm going to go back over here to the build queue, and the first thing I'm going to drop is a spaceport, which is a launch pad. Now, the key to this is honestly getting this as close as possible to the command center without that bubble turning red. And to make it organizationally more easy to deal with, I'm kind of going to have a linear system to it. Make it really easy for me to understand. Alright, so I've clicked it. Well, I've clicked the command center. And what you do is, if you do that on accident, come back over here and you can pull it again. So that's close as I can get, and you'll notice there's a new window popping up. So we'll go ahead and submit that. Now we have a spaceport and we have a command center. And the first step you want to make after you get done with that is you want to click on Planetary Links, Create Link. From that point you're going to click. You'll notice there's a little white line that comes out, and you want to select this. Once you complete that, you don't have to hit submit every single time, but before you move on to something other, you need to go ahead and make sure you do submit it, and you'll see why. Hopefully, why you can wait a little while. So now that we're got that set up, we're going to go ahead and select our Baron Extractor Control Unit. And you'll notice if I zoom out, oh,